Well, hello and welcome back to the Finding Freedom podcast. So excited that you're here today. As always, we are going to be talking about a topic that is really near and dear to my heart, and that is homeschool. We're going to be talking all things new homeschool year prep, and I have a fun downloadable for you guys to download. It's going to be available in the show notes, but this is going to be my homeschool prep checklist, and this is all of the things that I do in July to start prepping for a new homeschool year. We usually start our new year in early August. This year, we're going to be starting the first Monday in August, and I am super excited for this new year because we have a lot less going on in my personal life. And for the first 3 years of homeschool, like the first year was figuring things out. The second year, I was pregnant. The third year, I was going through seminary. And so now I feel like my entire focus, other than obviously working, is going to be on homeschooling our kids, and I'm just super excited. But this is a highly requested video that I've gotten because a lot of people want to know how I prep, how I get ourselves ready, and this is going to be kind of an all-in-one, all-inclusive video that will go through step by step what I do to prep for a new year. If you're not a homeschool mom, I don't want you to turn this off because there's lots of things on this checklist that you can still use as you prepare for any new school year in general. There are some things, obviously, like ordering new curriculum, which is the first step, that's not going to be applicable to you, but some of the other things are really going to be helpful, and I think it could benefit you. So don't discount it. Just maybe keep listening, keep watching, and just implement what you can. So the download will be available in the show notes. So go ahead and head down there and you can download it, and then you can kind of go through it with me as I go over the checklist. So the first thing on the checklist is to order new curriculum. For us this year, we're going to be using a curriculum called The Good and the Beautiful. We've been a Master Books family for all 3 years of our first 3 years of homeschool so far, and we've loved it. I have no complaints for it other than my son, who is now entering fourth grade, had to take a third grade exam for the state, and a lot of the things that were on the exam, Master Books had not yet covered. But when I looked at The Good and Beautiful, they had covered it. And so we needed a curriculum that was more lined with the state standards of our state. So that's kind of why we're making the switch. It's a little bit more fast-paced learning-wise. Master Books is great. The Good and Beautiful is going to be great. They're all great. As long as you're teaching your kids, you're doing a great job. So don't stress so much over the curriculum itself. Really just focus more on the standards that your state has and the learning styles of your children and things like that. So ordering new curriculum, step one, you're going to check that off. A lot of you have probably already done that because when this episode airs, it'll be July 15th. So you're probably you already have a good idea of what it is that you're going to be using this year. So you can probably already check off the first part of your list, which is always exciting. The second thing on this list is to clean out everything. So for us, we have a big homeschool area right off of our kitchen, and I take all of the books out. I take all of the binders, all of the stuff on the desk, all of the cubbies, and I empty everything out. I throw away what needs to be thrown away, all of the pencils and crayons that are broken, the random papers and toys that are broken, all of that stuff, the trash. It's all in there. We all have it. I know I'm not the only one. But just clean it all out and really start fresh. Organize the paperwork as you're putting it back in. Keep what you need to keep and get rid of what you can get rid of. We don't need to hold on to everything. And I know that that's really hard. And I have personally struggled. I usually don't struggle with getting rid of things, but for some reason, our homeschool work has been very hard for me to part with. I actually, as I'm recording this, still have all of our work from the last first 3 years of our homeschool, the last 3 years, first 3 years. Um, I have every piece of work that we've done, and I know that I need to part ways with it. So that will be part of my personal accountability. I want you guys to check in with me and ask how this went because I'm airing this or recording this on July 3rd, and the episode is airing on July 15th. So I'm really hoping by the time this episode airs that I will have that stuff cleared out. And yeah, check in on me for that. See how it's going. But yeah, clean out everything. Homeschool closet. We have a homeschool area, and then we have a homeschool closet. The homeschool closet has all of our science, science experiment things, random craft stuff, puzzles and games and all that. My kids are all getting older now. I'm going to have a kindergartner, a second grader, and a fourth grader, which is crazy to think about. And a lot of the preschool stuff I now need to get rid of. And so go through your stuff and really clean it out. Donate what you can donate, trash what you need to trash, but clean it out so you can start the new year fresh. Before you put everything back into those spaces, you're going to deep clean. So you're going to go through and you're going to dust and wipe down and clean and scrub all of the things, the chairs, the desk, the cubbies, the boxes, all of the things that you have. Just clean it all up, make it feel and look nice, and you will feel better as you get into the new school year. The next thing to do is to take inventory of your current supplies. Do you have enough pencils for the year? Do you need tape? Do you need staples? Is there anything that you have that you can reorganize and kind of put together so you have a count for it? Like for us, we have tons of crayons, but a lot of them are broken, and we probably just need to like get rid of those and get some new crayons for this year because half of them are all dull and broken and all those things. And it would just be helpful to have a fresh new box of crayons. Same thing with markers. Do you have a bunch of markers that don't work? A bunch of colored pencils that, you only have white left? Like go through all of that stuff, throw out what you need to throw out, and take inventory of what you currently have. The next thing on the list is to review new curriculum. So as you're looking through the new curriculum, start to look and take note. Most of the curriculums will have a list of supplies that you can buy or that you'll need for those lessons. And so go through those lists and start to shop for those things now. Add it to your shopping list so you don't have to do it the week of the lesson and feel like you're scrambling. This is something that I learned in the very first year. Our curriculums are all open and go, but I would find myself opening a science lesson to do it on a Monday, and then I'd realize that I didn't have the Q-tips that I needed or something. That was a very random thought. I don't think Q-tips was ever a thing, but I would realize that I had forgotten something on my shopping list. And so then we'd have to run to the store, and then we'd do the science lesson the next day. And I really learned that first year to do the shopping for the first couple weeks, maybe even the first quarter of the school year ahead of time. Or if you're really trying to get ahead on things, just look at the whole supply list and just go get it done now so you have it all. But review that new curriculum and then write down a list of the supplies that you need for that curriculum. Do you need a calculator for your kids this year? Do you need a tape measure? Like there's lots of things that you don't like, you think that you won't need or won't use yet, and then you end up needing. So just write down that list and go through it. And then the fun part, go shopping. Not really, I don't know if you don't like shopping, it might not be fun, but I loved going school supply and clothes shopping when I was a kid. And I'm really hoping that my kids will continue in that love. So I personally will be taking each of my boys on an individual shopping date so we can just get a little one-on-one time and they can pick out the things that they want without the influence of their brothers. If you have multiple children, you know what I mean, where the youngest wants to get what the oldest gets. I want them to pick out their own individual things that they like because they like it, not because their brothers like it. So we will go and get all of the school supplies that they need for their curriculum. We will go and get all of the new clothes and things like that so that they can just have some fresh new things for the new year. I know as homeschool kids, a lot of times we're wearing comfy like gym clothes, but I like them to just feel that excitement, that freshness of a new school year and getting to participate in some of those things that other kids get to participate in that go to public school. And I remember going shopping for things was always really fun for me. So I want to continue that for our kids. So go shopping, make it a date, take them out to breakfast, and then go take them out to lunch, whatever it might be. I think for me, I'll do breakfast with my oldest, lunch with my middle, and then dinner with my second on different days, but that way it's not the same thing. And I think that will be really special for each of us. We did that last year and really loved it. So we're going to continue that into this year. The next thing is to then organize the curriculum and the supplies in the homeschool area. So you've gone shopping, you've gotten all the things, you've received your curriculum. Now it's time to kind of start placing things and organizing it so that it's in a functional, easy way for you to use. And this is kind of my favorite part because it's like you get to get excited for what's to come because you have everything and now it's just waiting for it to get there and you get to put it all out. And I just love this part. So organize the new areas, the new systems that you have and all of the supplies so that they'll be ready to use once you start the year. The next thing is to type out your new year flows for each child. So if you don't know this already, I don't follow a schedule by hour for our homeschool time or for my kids. But what we do instead is we have a homeschool flow. So we try to start by 8:30 in the morning, just because the earlier we start, the earlier we finish, but also the earlier we start, the better everybody's focus and attention is. And so we always start with breakfast and Bible time. And so breakfast and Bible would be the first thing on our flow. And then the next thing would be, maybe my oldest starts on his handwriting while I get the youngest set up with his math or whatever it might look like. So you have to kind of gauge that based on what your individual child will use. And I will most likely be sharing kind of our flow in future videos. If it's something you want to see, definitely let me know in future episodes, future videos. But I think it's different for everybody. So I don't know that that'll be something that would be helpful for you, but if you'd like to see it, just let me know. I will have my flows typed up here in the next couple weeks. So I can send those out to you guys if you need them. But just type out the flow for what you want your day to look like, what you want your routines to look like, so that everybody is on the same page and kind of knows what they're doing and when they're doing it and that type of stuff. I have a daily checklist I shared on last week's episode, on the cleaning episode, for just the cleaning routines that are working in our family right now. And in this, it has our school routine. So Bible, handwriting, math, language arts, science, history, and reading is all on there for the kids to check off each day. So the flow will take this and put it into a specific order for your kids to kind of know, like, okay, I just finished my math lesson, and then my oldest would know, okay, well, now I know that we're going to do language arts next, so I can just start. And he could start his lesson while I'm working with the younger two. The younger two can, finish what they're doing while I'm working with the oldest, and they can go to the next thing. So it kind of just helps everybody to know what's next so that they can continue to work and be efficient with the time that we have in our homeschool time. So I type out those flows and then I stick them in the very front sheet of their binder. And that just kind of gives them an idea of what to do. And then I also have their daily checklist in their binder so that they can check it off each day. The next thing to do is to print the blank book logs. And I don't know if I do. The book logs, I just printed these actually. These are just a free download I got off of Google, but it's just a book log. So print them off so that you have an idea of some books. So I have quarter one, 22 books per kid. And this is like for my youngest, he's going to be in kindergarten. So we're talking small books. My oldest will have some harder books, obviously, in my middle. But quarter one reading log, I printed it off already, so I could actually check that off my list, which is nice. And then what I'll do is I'll assign some specific books to each of them to read. And so I'll write those in here. And that's the next part of the checklist, is print the book logs and then write in the assigned readers to those book logs. And so I'll start to write in different books that I want them to read so that they kind of know, like, all right, I finished this book and now I can move on to the next one. And it just has the date, the title of the book, the author, how many pages it was, and then a little review of what they thought about the book. So we've not had a book log in the first few years of our homeschool, and I wish that we had, because I get a lot of questions on books that our kids have loved, and I would love to have had a list of them. So I try to remember and send them out to you guys. But some books that we've loved is the Imagination Station series. And then we also loved the Badger Hill Farm series. I'm talking for my oldest, because my younger two are still kind of newer to reading. The Good and the Beautiful has tons of great reading books. We've read almost all of them at this point for my oldest and my middle. And so those books have all been great. Badger Hill Farms, my oldest went through, I think it was 6 books. We got it for him for Christmas, and I want to say he was done with it by March of like that next year. So just having an idea of some books that I want them to read, some classics or some things that I'm going to be putting on my oldest on his book log this year. And then my middle will start to read some of the books that his brother finished over the last few years. So just an idea to kind of encourage reading and give them a goal, something, again, to check off, something to look forward to that they can accomplish. And you might do some kind of treat, or once they finish their book log, you take them out for ice cream or something like that. So that's something that we'll do. And then the next thing on the list is to update chore charts. So again, we've already done this, and I I listed this in the last episode. I'll go ahead and put this downloadable here. And I think what I'll do also is I'll add a reading log sign up, or not sign up, but link or something to help you to download this reading log as well. I'll save it and see if I can somehow share it with you guys so that you can print that one off. Yeah, so update the chore charts, and then the next thing would be to go over the chore charts and the flows with your kids. This is closer to the school year actually starting. So I'll do this closer to like the weekend before, the week before school starts. We'll go over the chore charts. We'll go over the new flow and kind of just give them an idea of what to expect. I'll fill our morning basket with new materials. So this is our Bible curriculum that we're going to be using, or just our Bible in general. We use different character study cards. We have memory verses. What else do we have in there? Our science and history books. We have affirmations. I have a binder where I kind of keep track of how they're doing throughout the year. So that'll be in there. Different, like the Serenity Prayer we have written in there, the Lord's Prayer. So just, we have a binder with some things in it. I wish I would have thought to bring it for this episode, but I guess it'll be a different one that I'll share with you guys. If you want to see it, let me know. But fill the morning basket with new materials. And then the next thing I'll do, or the next thing on the list, is to plan out your lessons for each quarter. So for me personally, I use the planner that I created, the Finding Freedom Planner. And so what I'll do is I will open it up to August. And so August 5th will be our first day of school. And what I'll do is I use different colors in my planner for different themes. So purple is family. And so what I'll do is I'll, on the side of August 5th, the week of, I'll put week 1. And then I'll go to the next week. August 12th would be week 2. So on and so forth. And I usually try to plan about 6 weeks of school and then a week of break. And then 6 weeks of school and a week of break. We'll take a longer break at Christmas time, things like that. But I really try to map out a goal of where I would like us to be. If your curriculum is more, like I know with the Good and the Beautiful, it's more focused on lessons. And so then I would, instead of week 1, I would put lessons 1 through 5, lessons 6 through 10, lessons 11 through 15, so on and so forth, so that I have a gauge of where we would be if we stuck with this through the year. So I know when we would finish, I can kind of see where we can take breaks if we need to slow down or speed up to kind of extend the school year or shorten it up. And it just helps to give us all a goal of, again, what you're working towards. So plan out your first quarter at least. I personally will probably plan out the whole year. I do it in erasable pen. This is an erasable pen, and I change it. It'll probably change, but I just like to have an idea of what it would look like. And then the last thing I wrote on here, and I think the most important, is to really pray over your new school year. Have a vision of what you want your school year to look like. Really go to God and meet with Him on that new school year and ask Him to be with you in it. Ask Him to guide you and to lead you and to prepare your kids' hearts and minds and to just help you through this next year that you're going to be going through. I think a lot of times I think we just dive right into it. I know I have in the past, where I just dive into the new year and I just try to figure it out. But when I really put God at the center of my homeschool, it really helps me to stay focused on Him. It really helps me to grow in my walk with Him. And I can look back and see all of the ways that He's helped me. I can see all of the ways that He's changed my heart. And it's really cool to see how inviting Him into something like this really changes it. And so for me, that's really important. And I know for a lot of you, if you're watching my channel, if you're following me, you're probably a Christian who is looking to add God into every aspect of your life as well. And homeschool is just another aspect of it. So pray over your kids' school year, whether you're a homeschool family or you're a public school family or private school, whatever that looks like for you. Pray over the new school year. Pray over your kids' friends. Pray over your kids' hearts and minds. Pray over the lessons that you're going to be teaching them, and welcome God into the center of all of it, because that will transform your heart as you prepare for the new school year. I hope this episode has been helpful for you. Again, this checklist will be in the description of this video, of this podcast. So everything that I've discussed and have available to link, I will link it for you so that you have access to all of it. But again, I hope this was helpful. And if it was, I ask that you would just share it with somebody, help them to get some help as well. And let me know what you think. I love to hear from you guys on social media. So take a screenshot and share it on social media. Tag me so that I can see what was helpful for you. If you have other ideas that you need to see on homeschool or checklists or things like that, or just in your faith in general, I'm always open for new ideas and suggestions. So make sure you send them my way. I thank you for watching, and I hope you have the best day. Bye, guys.